Welcome back, truth seekers. I think we're up. That was very strange. I could not get that last live stream to go. The button to broadcast would not load no matter what I tried. But this seems to have solved it. So just want to go through some of the headlines that have emerged today, November 12th, 2018, that we didn't already cover. Also, at the end, I want to have a little chat and see if I can persuade some of you to pick up the book who have not picked it up already. The sales numbers are declining each week. Last week was the worst yet. First week in about 3 months that we haven't done at least 100 sales. And that's just not going to cut it. So anyway, Kyrsten Sinema becomes the first female senator in Arizona history representing the Democratic Party. If you're missing out on Gematria School, we're having it every Tuesday night on Patreon. A few weeks back, we covered the upcoming election. We looked at Kyrsten Sinema, and we talked about why she looked like the shoo-in to win the race. She was the right age. She was coming from the right district. She has the perfect name to be senator. Again, for years, we've been talking about how when you know this code of letters and numbers that is Gematria, you can see through a lot of rigging in this world, from elections to sports to news media propaganda to even purposefully set fires. So let's go over this. Why Kyrsten Sinema? Why was she the perfect candidate? We're going to skip over Martha McSally. Just long story short with her, she didn't have the numbers. Kyrsten Sinema did. And when we say Kyrsten Sinema had the numbers, let's just start with her age, 42. Special number there, 42. I just saw the latest headline saying 42 dead from the California fires. The people who control the world, this number means a lot to them. In the case of this election, here's where it fits in. The word Arizona has Gematria 42. The word female 42. The word lady 42. Even the word bitch 42. She is the first female senator of Arizona elected at age 42. She'll take office at age 42. How perfect. That was one thing that stood out about her. She made history. Her birth numerology is 114. And notice, history has the gematria of 114 and 42. She's going to replace Jeff Snowflake. You know, Jeff Flake from Snowflake, Arizona, who flaked out during the Kavanaugh process. Another ritual all by the numbers that we've exposed 1,000 ways over. So notice Kyrsten Sinema, she came out of the 9th district. 9 just happens to be a word that has gematria 42. How perfect. How perfect. As for her full name, it's Kyrsten Lee Sinema, gematria of 97, like the word senator itself. Again, a lot of these people born and bred to be for their role. We live in a land of kings and queens. There's nothing democratic about our democratic republic. It's all a show, based in deception. Another thing about the name Kyrsten Sinema is it's right for Washington, D.C. And these are all things we covered weeks ago, saying why she was the lady. A few other things jump out about her name, Gematria. The name Kyrsten with the semi-bizarre spelling. I don't know many Kyrsten spelled this way. But her version has that gematria of 77, like how Washington, D.C. is on the 77th meridian, like how United States sums to 77. I'll spare you guys the September 11th Flight 77 into the 77-foot-tall Pentagon story that I love to repeat. But this is a big number in Washington, D.C. That's the point. Notice Kyrsten in the base ciphers is also 41 because today is the day she officially is the winner. Martha McSally conceding today, November 12th, 18, a date with 41 numerology. And as we talked about earlier, Stan Lee, dead by the numbers today. Earlier this year, he was in the hospital by the numbers on a date with 41 numerology, February 1st, 2018. So, also, you probably heard about all the rockets and missiles being fired over in Israel today. Zionist equals 41, the Zionist nation of Israel. All sorts of news by the numbers, but then again, that's true of every single day. and you'd only see it if you knew the code. So that's one story. Oh, today also, this came on November 12th, the day leaving 49 days left in the year. We'll get to why 49 matters. Feeds into this story. CNN had this as their top story for much of this afternoon. Why Kamala Harris is the front runner to run for president for the Democratic Party in 2020. That's interesting because it's been Elizabeth Warren. But in light of this woman, it goes back to something I talked about a year ago, maybe longer now. The next U.S. presidential election is going to be the 59th, number stamped all over Black history. Do you remember when the Florida governor race, there was the emphasis on the phrase monkey this up? All the news media was emphasizing monkey this up. The white candidate said, we don't want to monkey this up, electing the black guy. Do you remember that? Monkey this up, 59, like Negro, like slave, like blues. The next U.S. presidential election going to be the 59th. And I was wondering if we might see a black candidate as the front runner for the Democratic Party. We've been thinking it would be a woman too. Again, The Simpsons foretold Trump's presidency, followed by the first female president. There's a few things that are interesting about this woman right here, who CNN today says is the front runner, in light of what day the presidential election will be, November 3rd, 2020. So let's look at that. Today, November 12th, is the day leaving 49 days left in the year. Big number in Washington. Number we talk about often in regards to the city. Washington, 49. The woman's name, Kamala Harris, 49. She gets this honorary headline today, the day leaving 49 days left in the year. Same day we get the first female senator in Arizona. So notice her birthday, October 20th, 1964, born in the year of the Civil Rights Act. Remember how much this had to do with number 44, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. Her birth numerology is 113, 10 plus 20 plus 19 plus 64, 113. The election in 2020 is November 3rd, 11-3. She's got good birth numerology for that day. And just theorizing that she were to become the next president, she would be the second black president. The first was Barack Hussein Obama, number 44. Again, civil rights equals 64. So does Barack Hussein Obama, the character name, not his real name. Using the septenary cipher, don't forget that African American sums to 44. Obama became number 44, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. When you think of civil rights, you think of the faces of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. MLK killed on 4/4, April 4th. Malcolm X killed on a date with 44 numerology. His assassin, Thomas Hagen, got 44 years in prison. His assassin's name, Thomas Hagen, equals 44. So anyway, 64, good year for birth. Don't forget Obama ran on Hope, which has the Gematria of 44 and 64. Here's the date of the election, November 3rd, 2020. That's going to be a date with 54 numerology, 11 plus 3 plus 20 plus 20, 54. Big number there are the Jesuits. Notice she gets this headline when she's 54 years old. Not by accident. She'll be 56 years old when this election comes around, as we just talked about. Kyrsten Sinema, her name equals 56, like Washington, D.C. Also, from October 20th to November 3rd, that's 14 days after her birthday, or it's her 15th day of her age. Remember, 47 is the 15th prime number. And all of these words sum to 47. President, White House, government, authority, Republican, Whig, Trump, Democrat, DC. Obama took office at age 47. Donald Trump's The Apprentice. The Apprentice equals 211, the 47th prime, Trump 47. It's always a big number. So she would take off, or she would become president-elect on her 15th day of her age, 47, the 15th prime. And the day she would be sworn in, January 20th, that would be the 93rd day of her age. That's big because Black History Month equals 93, Martin Luther King Jr. 93, Malcolm X 93, Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks 93, Huxtable 93. We documented earlier this year that the phrase or the name Hebrew Israelite has this gematria of 93. It's a biblical number. You know, Hebrew has a lot to do with this biblical language of letters and numbers. So anyway, a lot of very interesting alignment, a lot of numbers that are big in terms of Black history, numbers that come up again and again. Last year, we saw the first 2 Black mayors in Midwest towns. It was one of the top stories last year. Both of their names summed to 59, both the men. I believe it was Minnesota and Montana. 2 Black men, both named gematria of 59. So, see what happens with the 59th U.S. presidential election. At the same time as this headline, Michelle Obama getting ready to do her book tour, getting a lot of attention right now. Another political Black woman. Themes in the media. And again, just in case you missed me cover this earlier, on November 9th, they realized they had a problem in Florida with Broward County, and they were going to have to recount. The recount officially started today, Monday, November 12th. But this whole saga began November 9th. And what's funny about that is Jeb Bush, who's 65 years old, Florida equals 65, from his birthday on the 42nd day of the year to the realization of the problem in Broward County was 271 days, which again is hilarious because his brother in the 2000 election, which needed a Florida recount, which was stopped by the Supreme Court, his brother ended up winning with 271 electoral votes, which is the 58th prime number, where George W. Bush equals 58, and so does Bush, and so does Freemasonry, and so does secret society, and so does Washington, and so does United States. And November 9th, 2018 was even a date with 58 numerology. So again, you know, all of these examples, and realize I've been doing this for 5 years here, they just show how rigged the show is, how well set the chessboard is. They got the elections planned, probably beyond how long any of us will remain on this planet. You know, these people plan a century in advance. Don't forget the Project for a New American Century. That was the document written by the think tank that became the George W. Bush administration, which called for a new Pearl Harbor to start wars in the Middle East and a new domestic agenda to control a growing population. The Project for a New American Century, 100 years. And what happened right at the beginning of the new century? 9/11. Shrub Jr. is president. I feel bad for the people who think all this stuff's a coincidence. You know, you can go right through every U.S. presidential election and figure out how they rigged the whole thing again and again and again. And notice they said Bush had 47.9% of the vote. They had to get that 47 in there. Of course they did. Here's another story today. Just some more stuff to get people worked up. Police investigate after Wisconsin high schoolers posed an apparent Nazi salute. I mean, why does this need to be a national news story? Who cares? Who cares? Nobody would know about this except for, you know, this little tiny town in Wisconsin. Why does the whole nation need to know about this? Of course, the answer is they don't. It's just that they got to give people a reason to get worked up. So anyway, this happened at Baraboo High School, right, which has this gematria of 158, Nazis 58, Freemasonry's 58 and 158. Not by coincidence. Oh, don't forget the Nazi power. The Nazi Party came to power in the year 33. 33, Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33. For all the recorded history, the same group of people have controlled both sides of all major wars. New World Order agenda. Control both sides, profit off both sides, control the agenda, control the narrative, write the history books. So anyway, don't get caught up in that story. Don't get caught up in any news story. Also, Patrick Mahomes. What a day for him yesterday, Sets a new record for the Kansas City Chiefs, surpassing Len Dawson, who's 83 years old right now, football 83. Most passing touchdowns in the season by a rookie quarterback for the Chiefs. And on the same day he does that, his girlfriend's stepfather, who was in attendance at the game, collapses and dies. Now, again, for 5 years straight, we've been showing how the world of rigged sports, it's also synced up with ritual sacrifice again and again, especially around the time of major accomplishments, championships, etc. So here's all the things that jumped out about this. This was week 10 of the NFL. You had the Cardinals versus the Chiefs, two teams that in their history have played in the state of Missouri. That's who was playing. The Chiefs and the Cardinals in this game. When you write out 10, it has Gematria 42. Missouri has Gematria 42. Arizona has Gematria 42. The Arizona Cardinals, who used to be in Missouri, were the opponent. This game was played 55 days after Patrick Mahomes' birthday. And we've been talking about 55 and 10 a lot with this man throughout the season. His star receiver wears the number 10. His star receiver's name equals 55 in Gematria. 55 and 10 have a big relationship. The number 55 is the 10th triangular number, meaning if you add 1 through 10, it equals 55. And it's also the 10th Fibonacci number. 55, the 10th Fibonacci number as well. Now look, in Gematria, sacrifice equals 46 and 55. Stepfather equals 46 and 55. Len Dawson, who he surpassed, equals 46 and 55. Numerology also equals 55. So does Fibonacci, which I should mention. So it was 55 days after his birthday, week 10. If you watch the game, his receiver, number 10, caught a touchdown to start the game, who has the 55 name Gematria. And not only on Patreon did we say the Chiefs would win this week, which wasn't a hard pick, but we said look for number 10 to have a big game. Of course he did. All scripted. So anyway, it was 55 days. 55 days is also 7 weeks and 6 days. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 6 more, 55. Blood sacrifice has that Gematria 76 as well. And just for the record, stepfather also has Gematria of 118, like death. NFL Week 10 began November 8th, 118. Deadly fires set that day intentionally as ritual, resulting in deaths up to the moment. They say 42 reported dead. There's probably really a lot more. So here's Patrick Mahomes from his birthday to the game 55 days later. He's 23 years old. He surpassed Len Dawson, who's 83. 83 is the 23rd prime. Len Dawson set the record in 64. If you count the 64 season, that's a span of 55 seasons. It's 54 seasons after. If you count 64, that's also a span of 55 seasons, counting the 64 season. But with regards to it happening in 64, Kansas City Chiefs equals 64, so does kill. Somebody had to get killed, in this sick rig league for them to, I guess, give up this record. That's the way they do it. Again and again. Now, from Len Dawson's 83rd birthday earlier this year, June 20th, to the accomplishment, November 11th, was 144 days. That's interesting because in Roman numerals, 10 is X. And in Sumerian Gematria, which is just where multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, X is the 24th letter, 24 times 6. X is 144. In Jewish Gematria, the word time equals 144, so does the word killer. And as we know, time is a killer. It's a certain killer. So, 144 days after his 83rd birthday, he sets the record. And again, football equals 83, so does murder. Murder by Numbers, the song, came out in the year 83. Those lyrics about putting something in somebody's coffee. Easy way to kill somebody. Just makes you wonder who poured this man's soda or beverage or whatever he was drinking at the game. You know. The girlfriend is named Brittany Matthews. Brittany Matthews. And it was her father who died. Matthews has Gematria of 28 and 44 like kill. Matthews also has Gematria of 107, which is the 28th prime number. Ritual sacrifice is also 107. Brittany Matthews sums to 97 like death, 218 also like death. So quite interesting there. And we've been talking about this all year. It's the 99th NFL season. Patrick Mahomes Jr., the quarterback, his name equals 99. Arrowhead Stadium 99. And that number is a good transition point because on November 10th, we got the death of a former Cleveland Brown and New York Giant. This article is by the New York Times. So, of course, they focus on his career with the Giants. He wore the number 30. The N-word has Gematria 30. So do a lot of things from Black history. Couldn't help but notice, in this picture, the numbers that are clear to see are 69 and 30, 99, like we're in the 99th NFL season. And guess what his full name equals in Gematria? This man's full name sums to 99 in our most pure cipher. Ronald Adolphus Johnson, 99. In light of him playing the majority of his career with New York, he died on a date with 39 numerology. New York equals 39. NY's 39. NYC's 39. Every New York Giants and the one Jet Super Bowl. All 5 Super Bowls won by New York teams. 4 by the Giants, 1 by the Jets. They all come back to the number 39. They've all been rigged around that number. And by the way, G-Min equals 39 too. Another one I could have put up here. Just in case you're new here, just teaching moment. Just make sure you got this. There's 4 base ciphers, right? If you write NY with the alphabetic order, that's 14 plus 25 using the alphabetic order 39. If you write NYC and flip the alphabetic order around, NYC is 39. The difference between these two ciphers is right here, A is 1, and in this cipher, A is 26. In this cipher, you're counting up A to Z. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z is 26. In this cipher, you're counting from Z is 1 back to A is 26. So those are our 2 alphabetic ciphers, one forward, one reverse. And then the other 2 are the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So notice, A is 1 here, A is 1 here. Where it changes is when you get to J. J is the 10th letter. The numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. The letter before J is I. Notice they're both 9 because they're both single-digit numbers. And the next cipher, you're making each letter a single-digit number, all the way up to Z. Z, the 26th letter in numerology, is 2 plus 6 is 8. You see? And then same thing over here. The other cipher is the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. When we type in B, this will become 25, and this will become 7. You see? So these are our 4 ciphers. We call them the base ciphers. You learn them, you see, through all news media scripting. Very cleverly built system. So coming back to this man's death, dead on the date with 39 numerology, New York, G-Min, NY, NYC, Empire, plus more, George Clinton. First governor of New York was George Clinton, born in 1739. Born on the same day New York was established, July 26th. Anyway, the date this man died, he was a black man, was also a date with 59 numerology. November 10th, 2018, date with 59 numerology. Negro, slave, blues. In Jewish Gematria, the word kill equals 59. He died on his 25th day of his age. Death and time equal 25, so does Giants, team he played for the most. He died at age 71. The Browns got a big win this weekend, the Browns did. See what happens in the Giants-Niners game. But the two teams this man played for, the Browns and the Giants. And he also went to college at Michigan. They're having a big year this year, one of their better years in recent memories. And couldn't help but notice that the college football championships on January 7th this year, a date that can be written 7/1 like 71, the age of his passing. He died 58 days before the game, or a span of 59 days. 59 is the 17th prime number. 17 is also a bit like the date January 7th. Most of us write it 1/7 in the US, like 17. Dead on a date with 59 numerology, 59 days before the big game at age 71. No doubt, another example of murder by numbers. The date of the college championship, a date with 47 numerology. Ron Johnson, 47. Ron also 47. Ron Johnson, how he's remembered. Notice that's 8 weeks and 3 days. Again, big football number there. Football, 83. When you flip the alphabetic order around, murder, 83. Not an accident. They say 83 was the best NFL QB draft class ever. Not an accident that Tom Brady's born on August 3rd. Not an accident that Peyton Manning was born on the 83rd day of the year. The son of Archie Manning. So again, just because it's the top story of the day, want to revisit Stan Lee's death. Somebody pointed out that the name Venom, that was the latest Marvel movie. Remember, there's a cipher where you take into account alphabetic order. Francis Bacon, each capital letters plus 26 more. And Francis Bacon, Venom's 95. Like how Stan Lee just died at age 95. I guess something else I could look at is, what date did that movie come out? October 5th. So 26, 38. So he died 38 days after the release of Venom. And what do we know about 38? What do we know about old 38? That's the number that represents the word death, 38. Murder's also 38. Killing's 38. RIP's 38. That movie poster, Murder by Numbers, they changed the E to a 3 and the B to an 8, 3 and 8. They don't mess with any of the other letters. So dead at 95, 38 days after the release of Venom. The other thing we pointed out earlier is from the day he died to his upcoming birthday is 46 days. Sacrifice 46, superhero 46, the man who made superheroes. He died before his 96th birthday. Stanley is his birth name. Stan Lee's his artist name, a play on Stanley, but his birth name's Stanley. 96, dead before the 96th birthday. Stan Lee and the Kamala cipher. We don't often talk about the Kamala cipher, but they are important. In my book, I cover these other ciphers. Stan Lee's 96 here, just like Stanley's 96 with the alphabetic order. But 46 days from the 96th birthday. We also talked about how his wife died on July 6th. Stan Lee, with the alphabetic order, 76, like the date his wife died. That date can also be written 6/7, Marvel Universe, which he created, 67. Earlier today, I said that the next X-Men movie to come out is on June 7th, 2019. Someone who knows a lot more about this than me said there's actually 2 more movies that are supposed to come out. And what that person told me is the next X-Men movie is actually supposed to come out on March 8th. March 8th, 3883. So anyway, I thought it was this one, Dark Phoenix. This is what was listed, where I went to the Wikipedia reference. Wikipedia is often missing things, but according to Wikipedia, this is the next X-Men film, which I guess is not true. But it is interesting that this film, Dark Phoenix, is coming out on that date, June 7th. Stan Lee. Goes with that Stan Lee gematria. So, Covered a lot of this earlier, so I'm going to skip over it. Again, he's died on a date with 61 numerology. His writing career began in 61 with Jack Kirby of the Fantastic Four. 61 is the 18th prime, dead in 2018. Today's date also has 41 numerology. He was hospitalized February 1st, 2018, a date with 41 numerology as well. Stan Lee, 41. Fitting day for him to go out. Comic book, 41. Keep in mind that today also leaves 49 days left in the year, and comic books also 49. So how fitting. Last year on September 11th, 2017, this article was released by the media. Stan Lee talks about meeting President Bush. Remember how yesterday, 11/11, George W. Bush got a Liberty Medal. It's given to him by the former Vice President, Joe Biden, the 47th Vice President. But we were talking about how on 11/11 on the Julian calendar, that's the 9th month, the 11th day. It's like 9/11. And Joe Biden wrote the anti-terrorism legislation that became part of the Patriot Act. Anyway, Stan Lee, from the day he was hospitalized to his death, was 9 months, 11 days. He died the day that a lot of businesses were recognizing Veterans Day. He was a veteran. George W. Bush helped create a lot of new veterans with the war he helped manufacture, playing his part, the good stooge that he was. But I just thought this was so interesting. Him dying the day after George W. Bush gets this medal, 9 months, 11 days after his birthday. Last year on 9/11, he came out in an article about meeting with the same president. So I thought, that looks beyond coincidence to me. I don't know about you. But here was another thing that jumped out. Something that I didn't know about Stan Lee. His trademark word, which means essentially high quality, Excelsior. This word has Gematria 47. He did die 46 days before his birthday. If you count the full span, it was 47 days. And what do we know about 47? Very special number to the game. Freemasonry. It has the logo with the capital G and the compass above it set at 47 degrees. So, by the way, 22 was a good year for Stan Lee to be born. And our most pure cipher, Stan Lee's 22. And then if you just do Lee, it's 22. And notice Stan Lee is also 113, like Scottish 113. They got their headquarters in DC, the land of 47. The Scottish Rite headquarters in DC has the portraits of the Bush family up on the wall. George W. gets honored on the Julian calendar 9/11, and then Stan Lee's dead 9 months and 11 days after his birthday, a year after having an article talking about meeting with George W. What are the odds? All right, so last point of business. The book sales are they're just too slow. I got to get this number up. I mean, time's something we don't have. We're living in the quickening. The agenda's getting worse every single day. The censorship's becoming more real. This book's been out since March. Should have sold 10,000 copies its first week. And what are we at right now? We're at 4,420 sales, and it's getting slower every single day. And, I got to thank Google for the struggle. I mean, they deleted my main channel just as I was finishing the book, so I had to start over from ground zero, going from 60,000 subs to 0. And about 2 months ago, we got the sales number up. The sales number was really popping. I was selling about 400 books a week there. Actually, even more than that. Best week, we sold 500 and some books. And Then what happened? Then everybody got unsubscribed. Now nobody gets notifications that videos have been created. Because you get less views, it means your video's less likely to show up in a stranger's feed. And due to all this censorship, it's brought the sales to a trickle. But even still, there's nearly 30,000 people subscribed here, which means, and you know what? A lot of people, I would wager that about 2,000 people bought this book actually, because a lot of people have bought multiple copies. So out of the 30,000 of you who are here now, I would wager that about 1 in 15 of you has actually bought the book. There's people who've bought like 10 copies. You know, there's plenty of people who bought multiple copies. So I'm guessing about 2,000 people have bought this book. And that means there's about 20 some thousand of you who, if everyone was just like you, I wouldn't have made a single video since August 21st. I was pretty much dead in the water August 21st when the FBI agent came to my house because, you know, the book hadn't really sold at all. People weren't supporting. And my girlfriend was just fed up because she'd watched me spend all my savings for 5 years and do this and not really achieve anything from it. Waking people up's one thing, but you know, we're not stopping the agenda or anything. That hasn't happened yet. So anyway, she was like, you just need to, she's like, you need to move on. I mean, you've done enough and now it's causing real problems in your life. You got the FBI coming here falsely accusing you of things. But then that day when I made that video, a lot of you stepped up and you just went out and bought the book. Like you said, okay, I'm going to show some support. I'm going to get the book. And that got the ball rolling. And since then, YouTube's taken the censorship precaution. Etsy took the book down from sale for a day. And you know what? Ever since that happened, it has not sold well on here. The day that it got unlisted, after it got put back up, it's never sold as well since. But I was able to get the Etsy to put the book back up. And anyway, I can't decide what to do. You know, I don't know if I should try to lower the price again, because even when the price was lower, sales were still dying off. And the thing is, when I sell the book at $5, I thought for the longest time I was just paying 40 cents in fees per book, but you actually pay 40 cents plus an additional 50 cents for each sale. So when I was selling it at $5 a copy, I was only making $4.10 per sale. Thought I was getting $4.60. I was actually just getting $4.10. But anyway, at $4 a pop, when hardly anyone's buying it, you know, it's even worse. But what I want to do is go to the chat and hear from all the people who aren't buying it, which should be almost everyone here. I want to hear your reason why you're not buying the book. So let me check out the chat. You know, a lot of you have been around here for 5 years, watching all of my videos for free, watching me spend all my money, pay all the bills, and never ask anything from you. So how about all the people out here who can't spend, you know, the book was $5 for 6 months. So all the people who couldn't even spend $5, let's hear it from you. What's the reason? Why do you just got $5 for McDonald's but none for the truth? And the other question is, you guys, why should I continue to make any more videos on YouTube? You know, I'm thinking about just going on Patreon exclusively, because I'm thinking about just doing everything on Patreon now and just cutting off all the free content. Because look, I have a good revenue stream on Patreon. It's not enough to build the Gematria News Network. It's not enough to start traveling to each location and putting together documentaries. That stuff takes money. You know, travel, accommodations, takes resources. And the thing is, the resources should be there. I've built an awesome book. I've given it to you at a very affordable price. You guys aren't doing your part. You guys aren't doing your part. You don't got $5 for an 800-page book. And now it's up to $10 because not enough people bought at $5. But the book has pictures. So books need pictures. There's pictures in the book. There's the comment of somebody who didn't read it, you know. Idiots speak on things they don't know about. So the person who left the books need pictures comment, clearly a moron. You haven't read the book. You're just leaving a stupid comment. Keep quiet. Well, the thing is, I don't need to make any more videos on YouTube, honestly. There's hundreds on here. People are going to continue to find my content. So, Sunset. See, that's why I just hate coming to the comments. People like Sunset. Sunset's like, can you do something on Frank Zappa? Hey, moron, listen to what I'm talking about right now. Go buy the book. Frank Zappa's death's in there. Next. That's all it is. Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I already did it all for you. It's all in the book. Go buy it. You know? Always requesting what I've already done. Thanks, Vinny. Appreciate the support. I think what I need to do is stop teaching gematria and start teaching you guys how to have $5 in your bank account. See, that's the American problem. Everyone's so broke. It doesn't matter how poor you are. If you're broke, it's because you're dumb with your money, period. I grew up with two broke ass parents. All they did was work 7 hours, not 7 hours a week, 7 days a week, long hours. They didn't get paid jack shit. But you know what? They still had $5 in their bank account because they had common sense. They didn't go blow all their money on fast food and all the other crap in this world. No matter what your salary is, you should always save money. I just know how it is. It's like a guy earlier this year, man. He's telling me, like, dude, Zach, you got to help me get up, man. I got to get some money. And then while he's talking to me on the phone, he goes through the drive-through, and I hear him order all this shit at the fast food restaurant, and I hear his bill for his one meal for himself, and it's 20 some dollars. And I was like, wait a minute, you're broke and you're going through a fast food thing right now, and you're spending 20 some dollars, extra large this, extra large that. This is why we're all ruled over, you guys, because all we do is give our money to these big corporations. We act like idiots, you know. Too much feeling sorry for ourselves too. Why? What? How could you be engaged to somebody who abused you? I mean, I don't understand any of this stuff. You know, I don't have any money because my fiance abused me. Why are you engaged to somebody who abuses you? You know. Joe Rogan's house is on fire. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. No, I can't raise the price of the book. Trust me, I'm already getting all these emails every single day about people who just want the book for $5. People don't got $10. They spend it all at McDonald's. Thanks for the super chat, you guys. It's very generous. Uh, I do appreciate it, but what I wish people would do was go out and get the book, you know? Well, even if you could give a thumbs up, Martin, they'd probably take it away as soon as you signed off. That's how they do my videos. Jeremy's gonna try printing the book on Lulu. I'd come to the UK, but it costs money to travel to the UK. I don't trust anybody for not signing into any payment methods on YouTube. So, adios, Carmen Johnson. Oh, no, I'm saying I don't think I would trust YouTube. I don't trust them at all. No, you guys, it's really nice that people did the super chats, but honestly, I wish I could just I don't know how to turn off the super chat thing. I probably would if I could. I just wish people would buy the book, you know. I got to get the sales number up because I need somebody to publish the thing, and then I would know the word was getting out there too. So I just I can't believe how poorly it's sold. I mean, where are the 60 some thousand people that were here when my channel was deleted? That's what I want to know. So, yeah, we already covered Stan Lee 2 times. So, you just got here late. If you just bought the book, I just turned on the sound. There hasn't been any notification from Etsy for an hour, so. And the last three things I got from Etsy were questions about the book. So there hasn't been a sale in a long time. Oh yeah, I forgot about that Stan Lee lost dog story. That's right. And then Jim Brown, and then Cleveland Browns won this weekend. Yeah, that's interesting. Thanks to all the people who did get the book. I guess the people who didn't get the book are just quiet. So, oh, I see Logic Before Authorities here. Hey, what's up, Logic Before Authority? I appreciate that you shared Gematria. Yeah, I'll start doing videos with Tim once a week. You know what I realized? The reason that the book sales are down right now is because all of America is saving up all their money for their Christmas shopping, and it just makes me think like, people are going to blow all this money on stuff that probably has no meaning on their life, stuff they'll probably forget about 2 months after the holiday is over. It's just like, I guess part of the reason I'm frustrated too is because when I was writing the book, I already knew that people didn't read, and I was like, people will probably never read this book anyway. And for the most part, that's true. I mean, it's just disappointing. It's like, I don't know what to do. So, Marty Leeds is in the chat under an alt account. Yeah, exactly. For the person saying take a couple deep breaths, are you listening to what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the book's not great. I'm saying the problem is people are pathetic, which is what I've realized, for all of my life. And that's what gets frustrating. And even the people who follow me here are mostly pathetic. 28,000 of the people here are essentially worthless, dead weight, you know, people that can't contribute anything. So that's what I'm talking about. I can't breathe easy for them. Here, I got to get rid of you in the chat. You're annoying. Adios. I don't know what message about the KC versus Ravens game. I don't know. I might get silenced one day. How many times have I already been silenced? I mean, all right. Well, I don't really care about football decodes right now. What I care about is the people who are here watching the video who haven't bought the book, which should be 14 out of 15 people. But so far, nobody stepped up to say why they haven't got it, except for the people who don't have $5 to their name. No shit, we can't win the war overnight. Have you been putting in 5 years, 7 days a week like I have? It's not overnight. I put in a big chunk of my life already. So it's just like, yeah, I get tired of listening to everybody's advice. It's like, okay, can you speak in terms of like the perspective that I'm looking from? It's not like I just showed up here yesterday, you know? Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, so many of you guys have bought the book multiple times that I'm convinced that like maybe not even 2,000 people have bought the book. Okay, great that you sent me a couple headlines. I've been decoding all day. You think I want to look at more fucking headlines? I mean, give me a break, you guys. That's all you do is shovel more shit. Can you look at this? Can you look at this too? Can you do this? Same people that haven't bought the book. Hey, can you talk about Frank Zappa? It's in the book, man. Richard Quinn in the chat is who runs Daily Dose of Gematria Facebook. If you go to Facebook and you search Daily Dose of Gematria, he's trying to get the word out there. This is the logo. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. I mean, YouTube's fucked up this channel. I can't get any views on any video now. I know that nobody's seeing the videos. It's not just that the view counts are getting squashed, it's that like literally no one's seeing the videos. That's why the sales went from 400 to 500 per week down to what they are now, not even 100. So, yeah, maybe I'll just stop teaching gematria and teach you guys how to not be broke. you know? No one should be broke. It doesn't matter how poor you are. I mean, you got to learn to save money. You guys are poor because you don't know how to save. That B trade guy was getting trolled. He didn't like the trolling. That's what a lot of people can't do online for because they can't handle the trolling. So pisses them off. Yeah, I get sick. You guys don't know how many emails I get about, hey, I can't afford your book at $10. Why did you raise the price? It's like, well, shit, if you wanted it for $5, why didn't you buy it at $5 for the 6 months it was up? And then I just get sick of all these people saying they don't got $10. I mean, God, probably the same people going through the drive through spending $20 to get the extra large soda and fries and a whole bunch of shit they don't need to eat. I, I wonder how much an hour these trolls get paid that they're just ever abundant, you know? That's not being cheap, Crystal. That's being smart. Exactly. Make food, eat at home. It's higher quality. You save money. I mean, you can buy $20 worth of groceries and eat for a week. Or you can go out and, get a fast food meal for two people. John Doe, check out his work. He's got the fermentation kits. Yeah, we should all go expose 7-Eleven in front of their stores. Who wants to learn about the secret Jewish history of Go Yum products? Brian writes, but cooking takes work. Spoken like an American, lazy. Yeah, it takes like 20 minutes of work. Most Americans would rather sit on their fat ass. They can't make it in the microwave, no way. Yeah, I'll probably write another book that's a lot shorter and that can be printed without publishers saying that they can't print it because, I use somebody else's headlines. But, if I would have paid all the money to have the book published, I'm not sure I would have made any profit at all. So, um, I don't know. I mean, there just seems to be not, well, look, there's obviously enough work. There's enough people that support me for me to do this work for myself and make a decent living. I'm proving that right now. But the thing is, the reason I'm being impatient, if this seems like impatient, is because I've been trying to accomplish something for 5 years, and now I've put out something that's really awesome, that's super affordable, and no one's going out and getting it overwhelmingly. And it's just like, Somebody's trying to call into the Gematria line. They're probably in the chat right now. Let's hear what they got to say real quick. Yes.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
What's up, brother? It's DJ in Newport.
Okay. You must be in the chat right now.
Do what?
Are you in this chat right now?
No, I'm way behind because I'm living on my buddy's couch, so I'm like watching videos you did like a day ago.
Okay, so I thought you were calling in because you're in this live stream. You're not in this live stream right now.
No, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not.
All right, man. Well, what do you want to call me about? You're just supposed to text on this line.
Oh, my bad, dude. I just, you inspire me. That's why. That's all it is.
Well,
if I had to sum it up, you inspire me.
Well, I'm glad I inspire you, man. Well, what makes me inspire you?
Because when you speak, I see your intelligence and I recognize it and I relate to it. And you're showing me numbers and I understand it. It makes sense to me. And, a lot of the people I'm surrounded by don't know what's going on, and you do. And that's fucking cool to me. Pardon my French.
That's all right. I speak the same way.
I'm sorry, brother. Are we on a podcast or are we on something right now?
You just became part of a live stream because I thought that's why you're calling in.
Shit, man. I just got done watching a video you did like 6 hours ago where you put out the number and I just randomly called. I have no idea what you guys are up to right now.
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm bitching about how nobody's buying my book. So,
well, I bought that shit. I bought your book.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's such a dumb way to put it. I didn't buy that shit, man. I bought that literature. I bought that freaking classic. Zach, I've been here for a couple of years, brother. I respect you. And you know what? People make fun of me because every time I talk to you, I'm giving you all these comments. And they're like, oh, yeah, TJ just calls in when he wants to kiss your butt. That's not what it is, Zach. That's not what it is at all, brother. I'm 45 years old. I look up to you. You're a teacher. You're my teacher. And that's how I look at it.
Well, it's nice. I appreciate you saying that, man.
Right on, dude. Right on. I ain't gay, but I love you, brother.
Well, right back at you. I know what you mean, man. I appreciate that you're out there supporting, and it means a lot that you got the book. I wish more people would do it, but I'm glad you did.
Well, you know what sucks, Zach? Here's the stupid part. I've been following you for a solid 2 years, and you maybe have made, if I had to guess, 4 or 5 videos that I haven't seen in the past 2. October of 2016. That's when I showed up. That's how long I've been here. I'm pretty sure I have not missed most of them. I feel like I know you pretty goddamn well. You have no idea who I am, and I understand that. But I know you, dude. And brother, I got your back. Period.
Well, I appreciate that. What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Kentucky, man. I'm DJ from Kentucky. You remember me?
Yeah, I do. All right, man. Well, if I can get
I'm
this,
in Newport, Kentucky, brother.
if I can get this book selling, the plan is to do a book tour. But first, I got to have people actually buy the thing before I can do that. So maybe someday I'll be there in Kentucky.
Well, if I walk out my front door right now and look to the north, I can see downtown Cincinnati, and that's been my entire life. So I know Cincinnati inside and out. So when you come here, I got your back, brother.
All right. Well, Cincinnati, that's going to have to be a destination.
Yes, sir.
You see the Saints beat Cincinnati with 51 points this week. I know you know Cincinnati equals 51.
You know what, dude? I've been trying to get my buddies like interested in this shit because they're all about the Reds, the Bengals, and they think I'm an idiot. They literally think I'm stupid.
That's how it is, right? They think us who care about the truth are all stupid.
You know what's weird about that, Zach? These people have selective memories. Because when I was in the fifth and sixth grade, I was in the gifted class. And these people were in, remedial math and English.
Exactly.
And I'm up here in AT and doing this kind of crap. And they're so dumb, they think I'm stupid.
I'm in the same boat as you, man. I'm in the same boat as you. That's what's comical to me. One of my friends who disowned me, I had to hold his hand all the way through college and help him with his classes. And we grew up together too. He knew that I was top performer, and then all of a sudden I start exposing this stuff, and now he thinks like, oh, he's like, you lost your mind. It's like, dude, I'm the guy who's pulled you through all of life. What's wrong with you?
If they would only look, because here's the stupid part about it. The evidence is there for them to see, but they refuse to see it, and that is the epitome of ignorance.
Right.
They ignore it.
Yeah.
They ignore the truth.
I know you're right on. You're speaking to the choir here.
Right on. You know what, buddy? I don't even know what you're in the middle of, and I hope I didn't put a monkey wrench in.
No, it was probably better because I was just pretty much whining. So you ended the whining, and now we've discovered that a lot of people in the chat are from Kentucky. So I guess you're not alone out there in that state.
That's awesome as shit, dude. I'm in Newport. Hit me up, bitches.
They did hear you say you're on your buddy's couch, though, so we'll see.
Well, I'm not exactly winning at life right now, Zach.
Well, you can bounce back. Just don't quit fighting.
Yeah, I'm not pessimistic, dude. This is the coolest shit that has ever happened to me. This whole I knew something was up. I knew it. And now I know why I've been so depressed my whole fucking life, man. Discovering why you're depressed is a revelation.
Sure. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, man.
It probably saved me, dude. I want to die. Now I want to live. I want to fix this. Because I can see the problem, and I can also envision some solutions. I couldn't do that before. I was lost.
Now you feel like you have a purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what a lot of people need in this society. That's what a lot of us need. Feel like we have a purpose, because we don't. We learn when we go in our school system, we learn we're not that important. Like every discovery's been made. We're just here to learn and take orders and follow instructions, and that's not very fulfilling. So
they try to convince us that there's nothing new under the sun, and that's a crock of shit, Zach.
I agree.
We can make whatever we want.
Right. I agree.
I love you, brother. I You know that.
The feeling's mutual, friend. And I'm glad you called in. I think you were supposed to call in at this time. I don't know what got into you that made me call you, that had you call me at this time of night, but I assumed you were in the chat and you were going to say, man, can you stop bitching? But you didn't even know this was going on. So.
No, man. Just random, and I was watching one of your other videos, dude.
Well, what video were you watching?
Shit. You know what? I don't even remember. And it's funny because I've had your number before, and I was like, I should probably call him back and talk to him. But, you know, I would hear you talk about, well, this dude called me in, this other dude called me, and I was like, I didn't want to be one of those dudes, you know what I mean?
Somebody says they want to know how Gematria changed your mind about your purpose.
Okay, well, I'll start here. I was born on April 11th, 1973. So that's 4/11/73. I am currently 45 years old, which is what the current president is. So, and, you know, I'm both high and drunk right now. So there are way more things I can probably, you know, put up for examination or example, but right now I'm slightly impaired. Am I on a show, or like am I on the air in some sort right now, or is it just...
You're totally live. You're 100% live right now. They love it.
Oh shit, that's cool, man. Well, you know, I've been around for a long time, so you know, some of these people even know me. I mean, they haven't met me, but they know me. But you know what, dude? We're all gonna be a part of this. I haven't stuck around for 2+ years because I'm dabbling. I mean, this stuff is not only legit. Let me put it this way. My mind was blown a year and a half ago. So when I see it now, it's almost like normal. Is that weird? Or does that make sense? Like the stuff I see now it's just more of the same. Like a year and a half ago, it was the most incredible shit I'd ever seen.
Sure. Well, I get what you mean. It is incredible when you first learn it, and it stays incredible, but then, yeah, it does become normal. You just start to see it every day. You're like, wow, this is just how things operate. So.
Right, and that makes it even harder to relate to the normies who have no idea what you're talking about. And even if you try to show them, they're like, oh, that's not that, you know, it's like they won't even look.
Yeah.
Right on. Like I said, I had no idea I was calling into a show or anything like that. I was watching a video that, dude, I'm sleeping on my buddy's couch. I used to be able to keep up better, but you know, I'm in and out as much. I'm in as much as I can. But I'm gonna get myself figured out. But the point is, I'm still here, and I love you, man. I do.
All right, friend. Well, I love you too, and you have a good night, and you be safe out there. And
you guys out there too.
All right, man. People appreciate your call, so I'm glad you phoned in.
Right on, brother.
All right.
Take care, man. I'll see you soon.
All right. Yeah, you too. Take care. So here's some instructions, you guys. Somebody's calling in right now. Hold on. I'm going to take this call. But before I go to this call.
Hello?
Yeah, you're through. All right, man. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Make sure you turn the video off in the background.
That's me. Hey, man, I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I typed it a million times, but you know, the entire world here is a work, and everybody's getting blinded every day. People need to get out and invite people, man. That's all there is to it. You have to go invite 1,000 people. Go comment on posts. Go take one of your videos and copy the link and comment it on a football post showing it's rigged. Wake more people up to you. If they can't afford to buy a book, go find 100 people to be a new fan that will buy a book. You know, if you want 2 million people on the front of the White House lawn, people need to invite people instead of doing a decode that happened in Dirttown, Montana.
Right.
That's it, man. That's all I got, man. People, you need to be word of mouth, be a host.
I agree.
Simple. That's all I got, man. We need to teach the fans how to invite and be hosts.
I know what a lot of them are thinking already, because I've gone over this before. They say, well, I don't want to share because then people will ridicule me. And it's just like, you guys got to get over this whole fear thing.
I have the answer to that. If they became an admin on my page, for instance, they can post this daily dose of Gematria instead of their name. And you can go copy and paste 1 million invites.
So there's
You know what I mean?
So you guys hear that?
To do it, you go to mfacebook.com. If any of my admins are listening that are new to my page, mfacebook.com. You can post to pages as your page or as yourself. So there's ways to, you know, you're doing copy and pastes and stuff. You know, it takes 15 minutes. You just put out 50 of them, you know. Even you could do it, Zach. You could be an admin on our page and do stuff like that part-time.
Okay.
You can laugh, hashtag Rob, but it's true. So maybe chew on that. I don't know, bro. I'm just frustrated watching them all not invite people, you know? I mean,
right.
Not buying the book, you know, the whole 9 yards. I love all the fans, but you gotta get out there. You gotta be a stand-up person.
Well, I think that's. I think
when they come in. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I think I got to get out and do something bigger too. I got to get out and pound the pavement, but
yeah, but you're one guy.
But that's what I mean. I need more people to help me out.
There's 28,000 of us, and you're one guy. You're 28,001. We need more people doing stuff, talking, get those business cards out, you know, whatever, anything.
I appreciate it, friend. You guys, Daily Dose of Gematria on Facebook, they're leading the way over there.
Yep, we need 1 million more admins, so just inbox the page.
All right, friend. Appreciate it a lot.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have a good night, man. Thanks again. So I was going to say something. For all of you out there who drink and smoke weed, those are expensive habits. And I have a feeling that a lot of you who haven't picked up the book, you probably spend at least 40 a week on weed. And, you know, if you spend 40 still on an eighth, those are expensive prices for states where it's legalized now, but that's still probably the market rate for the majority of the country. Imagine if you could just slow your roll with your smoking so that you smoke that eighth over the course of a few more days, then you'd have enough money for the book, you know, instead of loading bowl after bowl. And I just know, I know that the 20-some thousand of you who have not supported this book at all, you know, I know where your expenses are. Their fast food, their beer, their weed, their cable bills, they're probably video games, they're probably movie tickets. My same dude who told me he was broke earlier this year, and then I heard him going through the drive-thru ordering $20-some in food, he goes and spends all this movie at the theater every Friday night. And, you know, I mean, I'm all for getting out and doing some fun things and spending some money here and there, but I mean, if you're broke and you do all these things every single week, it's like, well, the reason you're broke is because you're blowing hundreds of dollars every week on food and movies and what else? If you saved up all that money each month, you'd have over $1,000 in your bank account. So John Doe says even better yet, just stop altogether. I know that a lot of people can't stop because they need their vices. You know, a lot of people are addicts. A lot of people are terminally depressed, and that's what keeps them afloat each day. But Young Dakota's got the same problem as me. Everyone at his school thinks he's high. His eyes must look like mine. Everyone used to always think I was high too, even though I wasn't. But how do I stay sane? Well, because I have a purpose. That caller who called in and said that he felt suicidal, but then finding this work gave him a purpose. I mean, everybody needs a purpose. And I've always known what my purpose is since I was young. I was always determined to fix the world, as unrealistic as that is, but I've had that idea in my brain since I was a little kid. So, got somebody calling in here from Canada. Hold on. How do I get that? All right. Hello.
Is this Zach?
It is.
Oh my goodness. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Oh, here, I'll turn that down. Sorry, I can hear myself, so I'll just turn that down. So I just typed in the comment, what's your thoughts on astrological events when it comes to the numerology that goes on?
So you mean how events are synced up with astrology as well as numerology?
Yeah.
So that's not my expertise, but just one example I always go to off the top of my head is the moon landing, because the moon's ruled by Cancer, and the astrological symbol for Cancer looks a lot like 69, the crab. The moon landing was in 69 in the time of Cancer. And Cancer has that Gematria 44, like space, like Armstrong. So if I knew my astrology better, I'm sure there's a million examples just like that. But that's a really clear one that people are familiar with.
It's just super cool because like I love astrology because it's kind of scientific. Like if things are in, like if it's a new moon, it's a new moon. You can't argue with that, right? And what I've noticed with all these like false flag events or whatever, they seem to happen during like a new moon or whatever, or during certain. Sorry, I'm a little bit starstruck right now.
Oh, I think you've become the star of the conversation. You don't look at the chat right now, but anyway.
I'm sitting on my steps, and I'm just like, this is super cool. But yeah, no, because it's just like if you understand, like clearly, obviously, you understand numerology, and so when you put the two and two together, and with the, the Ashkenazi events that they do, and certain high things that like Sabbaths and stuff like that, and with the new moon and the full moon and numerology, it's crazy. It's blood sacrifices pretty much.
The moon is definitely a very important object to them. So yeah, right on.
Yeah. Which, whether we went to the moon or not, I don't know.
Sure.
I try to teach my children, like, don't believe everything your teachers tell you, and do your own research, and yeah. But no, I totally appreciate what you do. Like I just feel really weird because I don't comment on anything, but thank you for taking the call.
Well, you're very welcome. Well, how old are your children?
Well, he's almost 12 and almost, well, he's 9, so 9 and 11 actually, which is funny.
That is funny. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I love hearing everything. Like I totally appreciate what you put out, and
Well, thank you. It's also nice to get a female caller because when I do my radio show, it's very rare to have women call in. It sounds like you should do a show because the chat's going crazy. They really like your voice, so I think you'd have a big following already.
Oh dear. Oh well. Yeah. No, I live like my dream. Like when I was younger, I drew pictures and had like, when you like think about something and it happens. That's pretty much what my life ended up being. And like, I read certain books and like quantum physics and all that kind of stuff that my life has become how I want it to be. And it's really cool.
That is cool.
Now I'm really nervous. I feel like, yeah. Anyways, yeah. No, I like I said, I really enjoy what you put out there, and thank you so much for that. And yeah, it's awesome.
Well, you're very welcome, and I appreciate you calling in and your question. And I think the chat appreciated you very much. Again, I think if you start a channel, you're gonna have a big following because.
I don't know how that would benefit. Hopefully, it would benefit other people, but I don't think I'm really there yet.
In time, then.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
All
right. Have a great night.
I won't tie up the line.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You take care.
Take care.
All right.
Bye bye.
I think we got a lot of single guys in the chat. I think that's what we just found out. But you just see any women that are speaking out in the truth community, they all have pretty decent followings. Here comes young Dakota.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, your voice is getting older every time I hear from you.
Finally, I got to call in. Yeah, man, I tried to call in on Wednesday, but I don't know. It kept getting disconnected, but I'm here. Anyways, yeah, about everybody thinking I'm high. I mean, I guess it kind of started after like I think maybe it was once I was following the work. I'm not exactly sure, but like before that, I was getting like really anxious over schoolwork and stuff. But now, I mean, even when I have a lot of work, I'm not that anxious. And I was watching the news. I wasn't that anxious about that anymore. Just took this work. It took my emotional investment out of a lot of things. Like my parents, they get very emotionally invested, so and they're stressed out a lot. And I don't want to be like that.
Well, what you're saying is what's true for almost everybody in this country. Like all of the information that flows through our society keeps people in an emotional state and reacting out of emotion and not even really thinking about things, but just reacting. So.
Right. Yeah, I think that a lot of the policy that a lot of people think of is just based out of emotion and not, when they're actually not thinking straight. Like I think a big example of this is the people who want to take away all the guns. It's like, they're not thinking what would actually happen. They're just like, okay, this shooting happened. The shooting is the fault of the gun. Therefore, we got to take the gun away. Which is ridiculous. Most of these are staged, anyways. But would you agree, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think you're right. The chat asks, how come you always have so much background noise when you're talking?
Oh, sorry. I was walking around and up here. Put my phone down. Is this better?
That sounds better.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I have a crappy iPhone 6, so But I was with I was on my way home from baseball practice. I think it was last Thursday, right? I had this Syrian Uber driver, and we had a good chat. I had a good chat with him, and texted you what he said, but I don't think a lot of people knew what he said. But he was talking about how like his experience in college, like being Syrian and all that, and how like the people would ask him like all this, like if they like rode camels and stuff or whatever, and just all this stuff, and so his English teacher, right, wanted him to write an essay about like comparing Syria to the U.S. And so he said like the truth about it, and then he got kicked out of the English class for that. And then his I think it was his grandfather or just one of his relatives, right? He had insurance in the U.S. and so he was in the hospital. He was getting treated, right? And then so there's a guy that came in who had better insurance than him or whatever. And then so his relative got kicked out of the hospital, and he ended up dying because of that. And it's just messed up what happened. And then also another thing that he said is his relatives, right, who lived in Syria, they called him because like he heard on the news that like where they lived got bombed and everything, and he called his family and they're like, no, we didn't get bombed. And you know he and then he was talking about like the crisis actors with the fake makeup and the blood and everything. And you know I can verify like that they do that because when I was they have really good makeup artists. Like I went for Boy Scouts, right? I had this thing called Disaster Night. It was a couple of times, right? And so they get these professional makeup artists, and then they get the injuries, and they'd have like the Boy Scouts treat the injuries and stuff. So I could definitely like if these people were able to do a pretty good job and make these injuries seem pretty realistic for my Boy Scout troop, I think that there's some really talented makeup artists who are able to stage it really well. Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Right. Yeah. Like it's just like everybody here, thinks that the U.S. is the good guys, like everybody else is the bad guys. But then you actually look at what the U.S. has done with foreign policy, and you've seen the amount of destruction that the U.S. has done. Like they've overthrown a bunch of governments in a bunch of different places. Look at what they did in Libya. Libya's in shambles. They overthrew the government in Guatemala. It's not good. And somehow we're the good guys who think that we gotta interfere in all these countries' foreign affairs. We gotta have military bases in all these other people's countries, spy on the citizens. It's just an abomination. I don't know what else to say. Well, you said it all right there. You spoke a lot of truth. Yeah, the U.S. has overthrown a lot of governments. All right, Chase, I gotta wrap it up for the night. My lady's here, and she's letting me know it's time to end it. So, all right. You have a good night, man. All right, good night. Thanks everybody for listening in. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, of course. Take care, buddy. That was Young Dakota. That's our 15-year-old Gematria prodigy. Anyway, guys, I do got to wrap it up for the night. And here's what I'm going to do. For all of you sitting in the chat who don't have $10, I'm going to put the book on a $5 sale price overnight to see what happens and see if that helps the sales get re-stimulated, because it's got to sell at a better rate than it has been the last few weeks. So I'm going to do this right now and then sign off for the night here. Let me see how I edit the price again. Let's see. Oh, here it is. All right. So what I'm going to do is when I wake up, I'm going to see how the sales went with it back at $5. And if it sells well enough, I'll just keep the price here for the
foreseeable future. But if it doesn't do anything, then I'll just put it back up to $9.99. So we'll say I'll evaluate by 9 a.m. tomorrow, Tuesday morning. Hold on, I got to save it so it goes into effect. Where's the save button? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So now it's $5. And for all the people who can't afford $10, you better make it happen right now, because if it hasn't sold well by 9 a.m., it's going to go back up. Here's your chance to get it for $5. All right, you guys, I'll be back tomorrow on the Patreon for $1 a month. You get all the Monday through Friday podcasts, and Tuesday nights you can sign up for Gematria School. Trying to help you guys improve your skill at this so that you can do what I do. We need more people in the world with this knowledge teaching about it. So appreciate all you guys hanging around, and have a good evening, good morning, good day, depending on where you are in the world. All right, take care, Truth Seeker.